May I invite the following dignitaries to the dais, please. Shri Atul Kumar Goel, Chief Executive, Indian Banks Association, and our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri M. Nagaraju, IAS, Secretary, Department of Financial Services. Can we have a huge round of applause for them, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much, sirs. May I now request Shri A.K. Goel, Chief Executive, Indian Banks Association, to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri M. Nagaraju, IAS, Secretary, Department of Financial Services, with a floral bouquet as a token of our love and gratitude. Requesting everyone to join me in a round of applause. Thank you very much, sirs. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now invite Shri Atul Kumar Goel, Chief Executive, Indian Banks Association, to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mukti. Good afternoon to all. Most respected Shri M. Nagaraju sir, Secretary, Department of the Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Shri Aditya Gehlotji, Managing Director and Head of the Asia Global Solution HSB Hong Kong. All the MDs and CEO of the Public Sector Bank as well as the Private Sector Bank, and distinguished guests from the banking industry, our technology partners, and all the participants of this conference, which bring together key representatives of the financial sector as well as the technology provider. Before I start, I want to express my sincere gratitude to the Secretary DFS, Shri M. Nagaraju sir, for accepting our request to deliver the Chief Guest address. Sir, your presence and guidance today will add the immense dignity to the technology conference and serve as a strong motivator for the entire banking industry as it navigates this era of the rapid changes. You all are aware, because the Saab was very busy. In spite of his busy schedule, he has accepted our request. Really, sir, we are thankful to you, because you are coming from the Bangalore to only attend this program. We are really grateful to sir. It is indeed my pleasure be with all of you for the today's annual technology conference EXPO and the Citation 2025. As you all are aware, this program we are running for last 21 years, and every time we are getting so much motivation, which is encouraging us to make this program improve the quality as well as the impact of this. Since the technology is transforming every sector, particularly to the banking sector also, a technology conference of this type, the nature is the considerable interest of all the stakeholders. The theme of this year's event is the responsible and resilient banking in the era of artificial intelligence, reflects the dual imperative of the harnessing, innovating of the safeguard, stability, customer trust, as well as the system resilience. Friends, you all are aware that this Reserve Bank of India in August 2025 has already issued the framework for the responsible as well as the ethical embellishment of the AI, which is the free AI. And IBA has already created a working group mein for to deliberate what should be the SOP for the using of this AI. Also the working group consisting of the senior officer from the private sector bank, senior officer from the public sector bank, State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Union Bank from the private sector, ICI, SDFC, Standard Chartered, even from the cooperative bank, Saraswat Cooperative, they all are there. And For the information to all of you, the RBI, when they have issued this draft guidelines in the August 25 for this responsible and the ethic, an element for the AI also, they have also mentioned in their report the role of the IBA. In the case of the 6 recommendation, there was 26 recommendation in this guidelines. Out of these 26 recommendations, they have given the task to the IB also for the 6 recommendation. That was the recommendation 12. That was related to the establishing a framework for the sharing the best practices. The another was the recommendation 13 for the introducing the program to recognize and the reward responsive AI innovation. The recommendation 14th was the supporting the board-approved AI policies with the indicative templates. The recommendation 23, the maintaining a sector-wide AI repository, and last was the 26th recommendation, the developing an AI compliance toolkits. The framework prescribes the minimum compliance standards adaptable to the individual banks, needs developed through the stakeholder consultative and the emphasis ethical AI, adopting the banking while the fostering the innovation, transparency, and the sector collaboration. For the information to all, that whatever the guidance issued by the Reserve Bank of India, in the working group we have discussed, and after the discussion in the working group, we have also discussed in the payment system standing committee of the IBA, and after that the approval of the management committee. In the last month, we have already issued the guidelines to all the member bank also. Friends, today we have the 5 enriching panel discussion that will explore the 2 dimensions of the themes also. Out of the 5, 2 has already been done. The first panel was from the efficiency to the intelligence, the reinventing the banking operation with the agentic AI. This was the first panel already done. The second was the data in the tech, the core ingredients and the scale of that the AI-driven bank in the future. In the first, basically, which I told you, the efficiency to the intelligence, the focus was on the how the leading a bank are moving from the basic digital efficiency to the true potential operational intelligence. The another was the panel discussion. The focus was on the how the trusted data and agile technology architecture from the backbone of any serious AI agenda in the banking. The third panel is the accelerating the next gen banking through the AI powered by the DPI, fintech, and the open innovation. Will explore the how the banks can harness the India's digital public infrastructure and collaboration with the lot of fintech company. You must have seen in the next door also, the lot of the service provider technology, they are showcasing their product also regarding to the fraud detection, the customer acquisition, so how the banking industry can make a collaboration with them also. The fourth panel is the regarding the future of the payment, the navigating the automation, resilience, and the innovation, which will examine the AI and the automation are reshaping the fraud detection, reconciliation, and the liquidity management. And at the same time, it will discuss how the ensure operational resilience, cyber security, and the regulatory compliance in an increasing real time, always on the payment environment. One thing what data I was seeing before coming to this session also, the December 2025, the UPI payment system, the 21 billion transaction has done in a single month. And if you see the amount wise also, it was 27.97 trillion. So really, if you want to see the how do monitoring of this type of the transaction, I think without AI, we can't do. When I joined the bank, then we were doing the monitoring of the debit side transaction, to whom we are giving the loan. We are thinking whether the end use of the fund has been done properly or not. And today in the serious environment, check is coming from this to the centralized processing center. But now the challenge is with the bank also, the how to do the credit side monitoring of the account also. So this is the one of the challenge, which is only the today's topic can solve the issues also. And most of the bank, they have already created the transaction monitoring department in the bank for monitoring the credit side transaction, because there is a lot of thought about the mule account, etc. is there. And the last panel is the CEO's panel, which is very important for the today's deliberation also. The highlight of the evening is the will deliberate on the building and responsible resilience bank in the age of the AI. This session will focus on how the board and the top management can embed the transparency, fairness, and the governance into the every layer of the AI and the technology stack, so that the autonomy never comes in the cost of the accountability or the customer trust, because the banking industry, trust is the main thing. Moment we customer lose the trust, then banking industry definitely on the stake also. So leader from the prominent technology provider will also share their perspectives on the innovation as the emerging solution for the benefit of the audience also. These insights will help definitely bank the benchmark themselves against the global best practices and the identify the practical use that can be implemented. This year the participation is very encouraging. More than 66 banks we have received around 311 nomination, which really motivate us to every time to further better or the impact of this this technology conference also, and everything. It is a long-awaited conference which is the IBA is doing. Before I conclude, I once again want to convey my thanks to the Honorable Secretary Sir also, because he has accepted our request to be the chief guest of the today's program. Despite his busy schedule, you all are aware, because he was attending the board meeting of the one of the largest bank of the country, and that is still going, but because he has promised us. And sir, really we are thankful to you, sir, for your gracious presence. And so friend, there is no doubt in the today's conference will offer the rich insight into the various aspects of the digital and AI-led transformation in the banking. Each of us has to think and act in line with the evolving landscape and the changing needs of the customer, so that our institutions remain relevant, competitive, and trusted in the years of hand. So this is very important for the banking industry. We have to be relevant, we have to be competitive, and we have to agile. I think that is the also the discussion for this forum also. With this word, once again, my best wishes to all of you, and I think the today's deliberation will be very fruitful and the engaging conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for the valuable address and those wonderful insights. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly honored that our honorable chief guest has spared his valuable time to grace this prestigious occasion. A very warm welcome to you, sir. It is now my privilege to invite Shri M. Nagaraju, IAS Secretary, Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, to deliver his address to this distinguished gathering. Welcome, sir.
Respected CEO, Indian Bank Association, Mr. Atul Kumar Goyal, MDs and CEOs of all the public sector banks and private sector banks, the founders of FinTech and other distinguished guests and leaders from the financial sector, good afternoon to all of you. Let me at the outset thank IBA for inviting me and asking me to speak before all of you. It's my honor and also privilege to stand before all of you who are shaping the whole ecosystem of banking and technology. I just heard IBA has brought together the entire ecosystem of banking technology. And last year also I was here, remembering when I was walking, and CEO also mentioned, I'm very glad that IBA is doing this, and my heartiest congratulations to the entire IBA, led by the CEO, entire IBA family. This is very important for the banking industry, and I congratulate IBA for being in the forefront of this change that we are all aspiring for. The tech, as we see, is changing rapidly, and the AI, Gen AI, Agentic AI is actually permeating banking sphere with unimaginable pace. Banking industry is investing considerable resources in adopting the new age tech, embed them to improve their processes so that they can remain agile and able to cater to the changing world. the role of technology in banking sector is immense. And all of you are aware both the opportunities and challenges of using the technology. Today, I would like to limit myself to the core theme of the conference, responsible and resilient banking in the age of AI. You know, banks from all over the world have set out a vision for responsible banking. It seeks to align their practices with the sustainable banking, including with that of the people and the society. In the current world, wherein the focus is on building a sustainable future, the principle of responsible banking becomes much more vital. Conversely, banking sector is currently standing on a much solid ground, having covered and filled up the weak trenches over the last decade. However, the strength need to be preserved and the abilities to withstand unexpected shocks must be solidified continuously. Here comes the concept of resilient banks, which defines the ability of banking sector to successfully return to normalcy after having had dealt with the direct shocks or from the ripple effects of indirect shocks. Banks in India are aware of these two critical and vital pillars and have gradually built up requisite infrastructure and scaled up their existing processes. But the moot point is whether the existing strategies are enough to drive the banking sector towards the emerging dynamics of responsible and resilient banking, or do we need additional elements and catalysts which would drive us towards the intended objectives of responsible and resilient banking. The emergence of AI, Gen AI has made banking industry to adapt them in unimaginable ways across the world. As part of credit underwriting, AI is collecting and processing data from all possible nodes. It is executing repetitive tasks like document processing, allocating resources, and optimizing processes as per the needs, catalyzing financial inclusion, automating fraud detection processes, and the list could be endless. However, when it comes to responsible banking, which encourages and promotes affordable and accessible banking for all, the AI, Gen AI models are yet to take decisive steps. MSME sector contributes 30% to India's GDP, 44% to exports, and 60% to employment. However, there is a significant credit gap to the tune of around 30 lakh crore to the sector, as per a study. When we look at the agri sector, 86% of farmers in India are small and marginal, and 25% of them are still dependent on non-institutional credit channels. This wide credit gap calls for an overarching policy reforms require involvement of all the stakeholders. The government has already taken required steps to reach out and fill this credit gap, and the tech is playing the most important role in this journey. The funding to startups, MSMEs, agri, sunrise sectors, small borrowers are priority areas for us, and the initiatives like new credit assessment model, which we launched last year, Jan Samadh portal, which has become very active nowadays, account aggregated framework, open network for digital commerce, ONDC, and proposed ULI are aimed at making credit accessible in a swift way to various segments of the economy. Similarly, we have come a long way to connect with the citizens of India, hitherto outside the purview of formal banking channels and deprived of safety nets like insurance and pensions. The government, in collaboration with all the stakeholders, has taken steps and launched a plethora of schemes to provide inclusive banking for all. The PMGDY, which now has 57 crore accounts with the deposits of more than 2.8 lakh crore, has brought unbanked citizens into the ambit of formal banking system. Similarly, PMJDY and PMJGY have placed millions of citizens under the safety net of safety nets. Again, under Mudra scheme, 54 crore loans amounting to 35 lakh crore have been sanctioned to small entrepreneurs. These schemes have made a positive impact on the citizens in an unparalleled way, which could possibly due to the active role played by the technology and banks, precisely by the digital public infrastructure. But the distance to inclusive banking for all is yet to be covered. While the DPI has been massively scaled up since inception by embedding new functionality, the integration of AI, Gen AI, and DPI can exponentially enhance its effectiveness, thereby increasing its reach to the uncovered population. Further, the AI models may be utilized to build simplified KYC protocols, faster resolution of customer grievances, lending to micro borrowers by analyzing unconventional data sources. At the same time, multilingual AI and conversational AI models can also propagate the delivery of financial services to the excluded population. I would also like to emphasize that the government is very much concerned about the rising frauds and digital errors, which is resulting in innocent people losing their lifelong savings. The menace of mule accounts is growing, and despite all the possible efforts by the banks, the situation is not very good. The traditional systems have been deployed to tackle such issues. However, extensive deliberation is required for a feasible solution, and here the role of AI, Gen AI would be very, very vital. Therefore, to build a robust roadmap for responsible banking, can we think of AI models to build products, explore the clusters which needs more focus, and help us build a roadmap to cover uncovered population? Can we think of AI models which can help us to build customized and sustainable products for different sections of the society, prevent frauds, and also help us to achieve inclusive banking for all sections of society? Coming to the resilient banking, now the global banking industry has witnessed a number of events during the last 25 years, and each one of them has taught us new lessons, made us to bring changes and come up with strong measures. We have built adequate capital buffers, maintaining required leverage ratios, keeping liquidity cushions to preserve the integrity of balance sheets and overall financial sector. The banking sector now stands firm, having multi-decade low gross NPA of 2.2%, adequate capital level of 17.2%, and much above the regulatory requirement of 11.5%, and robust profitability measured with ROA of 1.3%, and remarkable credit and deposit growth. Given the criticality of financial sector for the country's growth, the regulators have always come up with operational resilience framework to absorb shocks from pandemics, cyber incidents, technology failures, natural disasters, which would provide additional safeguards to the financial system. However, banking system is so immense that risk can actually emanate from any unexpected quarters. We have all seen the recent incidents in 2023, wherein a number of big banks failed across the globe, not because they were weak, but because they could not anticipate the scenario which unfolded in front of them. Therefore, the current world calls for strong and robust system which can continuously monitor and predict events before it can actually unfold. The traditional system can only react once the event has triggered, resulting in deployment of firefighting measures, thereby leaving this scope for reputational risk, which is very hard to restore. Therefore, we need a strong risk framework backed by robust corporate governance structure, solid and scalable IT platforms, including cyber risk prevention ecosystems. But we definitely need AI, Gen AI-driven models which can predict the events by analyzing global and domestic macroeconomic conditions, the current state of individual institutions, their strengths, their weak spots, and providing roadmap to fill the gaps, thereby preventing incidents which cannot turn out to be catastrophic for the financial system. Having talked about the pros and of AI ecosystem and roles it can play in responsible resilient banking, the AI, Gen AI is still an uncharted territory, and how do we proceed ahead will also shape the financial sector future. The core issue of AI ecosystems like embedded bias hallucinations, and explainability is what is troubling the stakeholders and inventors around the world, which may result in unethical practices, financial exclusion, thereby causing loss of public trust. Having said that, financial sector across the world are moving ahead to adopt the AI, Gen AI in their processes. The investment in these technologies, including the peripheral infrastructure like data centers, is unprecedented. Sooner or later, these techs must be adopted by financial institutions in India, without which we will stay behind in the race to innovation. Authorities in various jurisdictions like Europe, Hong Kong, Singapore have issued guidelines and frameworks related to AI, along with institutional mechanisms to mitigate potential risks from AI systems. The RBI is incorporating AI-specific guidelines in its various master directions in the recent times and had come up with Free AI, Framework for Responsible and Ethical Enablement of Artificial Intelligence, which seeks to create a progressive roadmap for all stakeholders and to leverage the potential of AI in the financial sector. However, more scrutiny would be required before these models are adopted and scaled up. Proper care needs to be taken to ensure that the data used to train the AI algorithms is free from any bias and hallucination, thereby ensuring its effectiveness in the tech world. Equally important will be the need of massive investment required to create a strong AI, Gen AI ecosystem. Globally, China and US are now the leaders in this technology and are able to attract majority of investments. We need to build the ecosystem which could attract investors from across the world. To sum up, the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 places significant expectations on the banking system. To achieve the GDP of USD 30 trillion by 2047, the aggregate outstanding credit of the banking sector must expand to around USD 39 trillion by 2047, compared to the present 2.2 trillion. Also, credit to private non-financial sector is expected to be 130% of GDP from the current level of about 56%. The growth of credit to such an extent scale would hinge upon several propellants like universal credit flow, comprehensive financial inclusion, enhancing insurance penetration, and widening pension coverage, strengthening digital payment network, and these would be intertwined by the technology. The role of AI, Gen AI would be vital to scale up and improvise existing tech platforms and in shaping the ecosystem of financial sector. We are all the brightest set of leaders, and the responsibility to drive the vision of Viksit Bharat lies on your shoulders. I hope all of you will have a productive discussion on emerging trends like Gen AI, robotics, data analytics, cyber security, risk frameworks, mule accounts, rising frauds, investments, and finally, financial inclusion. It will immensely aid the financial sector and catalyze them towards the new dawn, where they will be in commanding position to make India achieve the vision of Viksit Bharat. Once again, I thank IBA for convening all of us here and providing a platform for all the tech leaders to showcase their products so that the banking sector will be able to take the benefit of the new innovations, and also for inviting me to this technology conference and expo. Thank you so much.